Welcome to the Future Comedy Show, episode 29, with Big Dog in the cat. Yo!
That's our caller.
We're taking calls all day long, because we're going to be at Jen's place tonight, getting our grind on 8 p.m.
Jen's place. If you've never been to Jen's place, you should get directions and come out. And we don't know where Jen lives yet, but we're going to find out.
We're going to go there and get the pizza.
That's right. We're here with the Futures of Comedy show. This is the Future of Comedy. Is that a robot?
This is a robot with a mustache?
Future of Comedy. That's how we're all going to get replaced.
Yeah, we're all robots.
Yeah, two robots walk into a bar.
Well, if the viewers are at home, this is our episode 29 special edition of Big Dog and Kev. Kevin Zeoli,
2-9. No, I'm just doing 2-9.
2-9. The 20-something year veteran of comedy.
20-something. That's what do you say? When you get to 20, you just go 20-something.
Yeah, 20.
After that, until you get to 30, and then you're like, 30-something.
30! The dirty 30!
You're doing all the retirement homes. Like,
we should do a retirement home. Would you do one with me?
Hell yeah.
I mean, probably wouldn't pay very well, but we can go there and get some applesauce.
You know what? They would laugh at the dirtiest stuff.
Really?
Older folks just laugh. They laugh at I love when people go, oh, don't do it because they're older crowd. Then the older crowd, when you get in there and you start doing a little bit dirtier stuff, they love it. It's like,
well, they've been there.
They've been censored their whole lives. Like,
oh, yeah.
Fuck it now.
They invented the anal probe, you know?
The anal probe, I don't know about that.
Yeah, they did.
It was a different Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah. So, Kevin, you're a guest. I look up to you. You're a mentor of mine. You're a guy of has done a lot of it. You've done it all. You've been to Vegas. You performed for the troops. You met Kevin Hart one time, and he was a nice guy.
A long time ago, and he was a nice guy. Yeah, he was a really nice guy.
And now you're a ferocious road dog of comedy.
You're biting with the words right now. You're like furious, ferocious.
Yeah, I'm fucking it up.
Furious, ferocious. I know you almost sound like
I fucked it up last night when I was trying to talk.
I'm so tongue-tied.
You know, when I drink these monsters, they get me rolling.
I know, man.
The words start coming out.
You can order right now online. You can pick up the Futures of Comedy coffee cup.
With 3 easy payments of $29.99. Yeah,
Serena.com.
Yeah, Serena made those by punching her fingers into the keyboard.
I thought this was some sort of art project. I'm like, that's fantastic. And then you're like, I just sent it in, and they put it on the mug.
Yeah, it was Shuttershock.com.
You kids. We used to make our own mugs when I was a kid. We made
clay?
our own coffee. Yeah,
you made your own bongs with the clay.
Yeah, bongs. Get over this works good.
That's what everybody took the art class for. Like, did you know you can make a bowl in there?
It was way before the Tide Pods. Way before.
Yeah.
Did I say that? My generation, we actually licked toads. You guys don't know that, but there were people in my generation were actually licking toads to get high.
Yeah?
Like licking a toad's ass. And I'm telling you something, man. I don't know the history of toads. I don't.
Yeah.
But I would guess that was probably the best time to be a toad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would have been like a toad whore, like, come and get some. You know? Like, right on the
toads are just out. Just,
Yeah, I can't do it.
Can't do it. It's good for everybody.
I'm all worn out. Get away from me.
Charlie
Smoking
Sheen.
a cigarette. It's like, yeah. Charlie Sheen's got a whole tub of them.
He's freaking out.
You want a toad? That was back in Charlie Sheen's time, man.
Yeah, that's probably
how
in the 80s,
that's how people were doing it. They were just looking for a high, and that's what they did. Now they got Tide Pods. The other positive about Tide Pods is this. Like, kids are doing Tide Pods. And the one thing I noticed is, like, I always run out of Halloween candy.
Yeah.
But you know what I don't run out of?
What?
Tide Pods, man. There you go, little buddy. Tell your mom I said hi.
Yeah, well, she'd be happy as shit. Look at her. Get the laundry done. You know, find them in there.
Yeah.
Tide Pods, they're kind of expensive, aren't they? Like $10 a bucket.
I know the price just went up. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, does it really?
What you got for some Tide Pods, man? How much you give me some Tide Pods?
Does it really get you high? What was the thing? Were they really actually getting you high? Is it like a cheap drug, or what is it? Like,
I don't know.
I just heard about it.
I thought it was to spit on stains, and you spit on them, and then you just rub it in. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm just making shit up.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah. Here we are live in the Studio A.
Studio A of the dining room.
On the dining room, which will later become the dining room.
Yeah, well.
We're all going to sit around the desk.
Can I get your phone? It's not working? Are we live, or are we... But why is it not working on your thing? Why can't we see?
Do you really want to watch yourself?
Well, I want to be able to see who's commenting, because people will comment and they'll say, "Oh, hey."
Anybody's commenting.
Oh, yeah, people are. People are probably like saying, like, "Oh," they're probably like, "Oh, it's
all 72 watchers.
They're like, "Big Dog in the calf." They're probably calling it. They're probably asking questions like,
just bark when you
like how That's what they do. They call in, they bark, and then they ask a question. Which, if you have any questions, you can ask.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Look, I'm going to borrow your phone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And somebody did say something. We have 10
at?
live viewers. This is like
10.
PBS broadcasting here. Kate Brindle says, "Hi, Kevin and Mike."
I love Kate. She's
Audrey
awesome.
Wilkie says, "Hey guys," and she was at the show last night. Thank you for coming out.
Audrey,
Mark Nope said, "Zeoli is your mentor. God save us all."
You know what's funny about that? Mark Knope is my mentor.
Well, there we go.
There it is. It all falls downhill.
And then Mike Chambers says, "Kevin, you need to get back to Lowell."
Yes.
And then Mark is watching
Mike
with you.
Chambers.
And then Lee Thomas says they have Tide Pods behind the counter now. And
they
that's
hide them now. They're hide pods. That's what they do.
they're Tide Pods.
They hide the Tide Pods.
Get the high tides.
You know what? You get a Toad, man. Somebody get a Toad. I want to see if that still works.
Well, what? I wonder. Yeah. Well,
I'm serious.
let's do it. If anybody can bring a Toad over to my house right now.
People were taking them, and it's like what it is it just
your phone has a weird like vibration from it. Like I don't know what it is.
Is that mine?
Yeah. Well, it's like coming through like the microphone is going. Do you hear it? I don't know.
That's the government.
They're trying to come in. They're trying to come in there. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, Jen's place. Yeah.
Jen's place, 8:00. We can see Kevin's Zeoli, little Kev.
That was my stage name.
Kevin Zeoli.
That's the name I chose for my stage name.
Your real name's like Kevin.
It's
Roberts.
really my real name is Zeoli.
Zeoli.
No, I'm just kidding. It's Zeoli.
It's Zeoli. Okay, well, we don't know.
It's a strong Irish name.
Straight. What was it before? Were you licking a? Oh, okay, a De Niro. A De Niro. You
Just doing a show. I'm here with Mike. Mike, everybody, we're doing a ball. We're in the ballroom. This might be your ballroom. You have the greatest porn name, by the way.
Mike
just throw a Z on the end of there, and
Mike Balls.
Mike Balls.
First time I ever was introduced on a pro show. Adam Hunter was introducing me, and he thought it said because the lady who wrote it didn't have good handwriting.
Right.
He thought my name was My Balls.
My Balls.
And he was like, "Who the fuck is My Balls?"
After the show today, give it up for My Balls.
My Balls.
For both
and I was
of
just
them.
like, "Oh
both
shit!"
of them.
And then my first bit's about my name, so I was like, at least being
it
able to
sets
correct
it up
him
nicely. Yeah. That's
Lee Thomas said, "No, dude, 50 cents each." And Audrey Wilkie said, "Last night was a great show. If you want to come into another great show, you can see Kevin Zeoli, the master."
Yeah, come and see the show. Go watch Mike Ball, the master, man. You're killing it. Dude.
You're killing it.
Every time I watch you kill it, man. It's a great show.
Learning from the best, you know?
Yeah. I learned from Mark Knope. There you go.
There you go, Mark.
50, 60, it's 6 degrees of separation of Mark Knope.
Yeah, everything's connected to Mark Knope. The Mark Knope Forensic Files.
Mark's a great guy, man. Mark.
I don't mean it. What, you want to talk more about Mark? I mean, what do you like about Mark?
That's what I came here for. We're doing a Mark Knope podcast.
Yeah, tell me about. I don't think I've met Mark in real life. Tell me what about him.
Podcast. Mark's a great dude, man. He's funny, super funny guy, man.
What kind of advice did he give you?
He said, "Get out," like every other comic.
Oh yeah,
every comic. Back in the day when I first started, we were like, "Yeah, get out, man, while you still can."
Get out, while you still can, and then
23 years later, still doing it, still hustling around.
Yeah,
picking up everything.
What got you into comedy? What was the moment where you did it? What was the first show like?
You know what? Before comedy, I was a lead singer in a band for 7 years.
Oh yes, you did.
Yeah, and I toured all around in a big long-haired '80s rock band, and I got used to the crowd. So that was real simple. I started out as a drummer. I didn't want to sing because I thought I'd be behind the drums. Nobody would see me. But then our singer quit, and I was the only one with a voice, so I had to start singing. But then I'm realizing, like, wow, I could just show up with a mic stand, and I don't have to set up all my drums. I'm like, I'll be a singer.
This is way easier.
So yeah, I did that, and then I worked at Art Van, and all my, you know, what's funny? All these people, all the customers were coming in, and I would just joke with them, just make fun of everything, and they would be dying laughing. They're like, "Oh, you should go to the comedy club, and you should try this." And I was like, "Yeah, maybe one day." And then I don't know. I got Jim McClain came in, a great comic, another great comic came in, and he was buying furniture, and somebody told me he's a comedian. I picked up on him right away. I picked his ear on everything, man. And he told me how to get in, told me how to do it. And I went over it with all my sales buddies, and they're like, "Dude, you should go. You should go do this." And I just had to clear it with my wife at the time. So I was married, and I said, "Well, what do you think?" And you know what she said?
What'd she say?
I mean, I was making like $80,000 a year at Art Van, and she's like, "What took you so long?" And I'm like, "Oh my God."
Yeah, that's a blessing.
That's all I needed. That's it. So I did that, and that's how I got into it. And then I went and took a class with Bill Bouchard and Sal D'Amelio.
Oh yeah,
which are still out rocking. Those guys are incredible, man.
I think Bill's been on our show, and Sal was supposed to be on the show, then he didn't show up, and then Sal sat right over there on that lazy boy, and we had Josh Accardo on the show, and then we just talked about Sal the whole time while he was right there.
He's such a good sport. Man.
Yeah, Sal's the best.
Guy. Oh man, I've known him since. I think one of the memories I remember the most is when we all started out. Like I think we kind of knew centrally, like the three of us were going to be the ones that were kind of just going to maybe excel a little bit faster.
Yeah,
which we did. And I think we thought we would be doing this for a while. I think we talked at that party. It was in the backyard of some party.
You guys were just looking.
And I remember the comment. Yeah, we were
forever,
looking. Man, look at this. That's not even a toad. That's my hand. But it feels good. No, we were just. I think as I recall, and this was years ago, but I remember we were saying like, I think we'll all be doing this, and I think we've all been around every aspect of the business. I mean, whether it was running clubs or performing. Or just managing or promoting. I mean, I think they still promote shows, and then Bill does an incredible job. He does the classes, and man, there's so.
He's like the next. He's like putting the next generation of comedians out there.
I meet some of the people that have taken his class, and they're all incredibly funny. And then they tell me, and I'm like, oh, that's expected. That's
Yeah, and I see them too because they will come back and they'll be like, oh yeah, Bill said get a hold of you to do a spot, and then Derek Bartlett said I should see your band hair. Is there a picture of that on your Facebook?
No, but I do have a picture of Derek's band hair if you want to see that. That would be funny. I probably do have it on my Facebook, I'm sure.
I'm looking there. Is it maybe in your old?
It's going to be in the pictures. Go outside of the nude profile.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, there's
no nude profile.
Derek's pubic hair. There we go.
Derek Bartlett. There's a guy that's up and coming.
Derek Bartlett, funny guy.
He's super funny.
Oh shit!
When he tells punchlines, oh man, it's something.
It's something. You gotta be there.
They only happen once in a while on the show. I mean, he opens almost every show for me, so I get to watch him throw out one or two.
Yeah,
he's great because when he kills it, I use that the old comedy line. I'm like, man, where'd you lose him, man?
Yeah, just fuck with him.
He's like, that was great, man.
He had an awesome set when we did the Eagles the other night. That was a fun show. Let me see.
Derek was there?
Yeah.
He did a great set on Saturday night for me in the Democratic Club. We raised like $1,300 for St. Jude's, man.
Oh, sweet.
Well, I raise all my merchandise. Proceeds from my merchandise go to St. Jude's every week. So that was really nice. But this club they raised so much money. I was like, fantastic, man. But they did it like it's a big fundraiser through the whole month.
Yeah.
It was just fantastic. Good people.
That's sweet. That's sweet. I'm not seeing the band hair, but
yeah, you have to
move on.
Yeah, you skip it.
This is a question I like to ask a lot of comics: is what is one adversity that you faced during your stand-up career that you turned into a positive?
Oh man, my first road gig was at a place. Oh, man, I wish I could remember the name of it now. It was outside of Cleveland. I'm sure Knope would remember if he was still watching.
Yeah, he's on there. He's saying, tell Bushard to stop. Enough already. And then Derek...
He said, get back to talking about Knope.
Yeah, he's like, that's
stop talking about Bushard. Let's get to Knope, man.
Yeah, he's like, talk about me, please.
No, Mark's great. But yeah, I think my first time on the road, I was married early on, and I had my daughter, and really young. And I remember the first night that I stayed at this place, and God, it'll come to me, but it was a place up near Cleveland, a comedy club, and you had to stay in the manager or the owner's house, and so you're walking in with your luggage through the while his mom and dad are eating dinner and everything. You're just
really?
And you have to go upstairs, and it was just the worst smelling, the worst conditions you could ever imagine. I was traveling with my buddy J.R. Remick, and I was opening for him, and I just thought, I don't think I can do this because I missed my family so much, and then I went out that night and just had a stellar show, and I was like,
how's worth it?
I'm like, I'm back. You know what?
You're like eating dinner with the family the next night.
Exactly.
You're
like I'm making spaghetti. Like, eat it up, Papa. Papa has our condition. Then eat more. Yeah. So I remember that. That was a pretty solid memory because I was missing the crap out of my wife and my kid at the time. Now I don't miss.
Now you don't miss
my ex-wife anymore. No, I miss my daughter when I'm not around. But I love talking to her about the times when she was little, and because that's all she's known is really pretty much me being a comic and being a comedian, and she loves it, and it's kind of helped her become like both my daughters know that I've never really lived the 9-to-5 job, and I've always chased this, and I not so much chased it as much as I just wanted to make this be a sole part of the income. And there's so many other variables outside of comedy other than performing that you can do that. You can produce shows, You can do all kinds of other things with bookings, and and booking yourself is a lot. I mean, I book myself, and it can be difficult at times. Like for all of us. I mean, you're constantly on that. I was saying that to you earlier. You're constantly on the phone. You're constantly checking for things that are possibilities.
And see, that's what I like about you, though, is that you're a hustler, and then you just go get it yourself. You're not relying on anybody specifically. I mean, obviously people help out, they get the gigs, but you're out there. You're gonna find your own work, and you're gonna make sure that you're getting on stage. And
and that's the thing. A lot of guys when they go to agencies and they think that that's their sole, tool to get. You can do a lot of that stuff on your own. You can produce a lot of your own shows.
Yeah.
If you learn that aspect of it, and you learn how to just really get out there and focus in on generating your own income, and that's kind of really what it comes down to. You want to make X amount each week, and you want to kind of sustain that throughout a month, and you kind of look at things in sections of like every comic does. You do quarters, and you want to get your first quarter, filled in.
Yeah.
And then you know where your money's coming from, and you get some other stuff like other things that you can do, speaking engagements and other things that you can get involved in. So yeah.
Is there anything that you used your stand-up career afterwards to propel you in different aspects of your life? What you did before, like you were working at the place with the jokes, and then you use it somehow else. Like, is there are you more confident in the checkout line? Like you see somebody,
ask. Derek's a good person for that because and every day, I tell people and my friends all know every day my goal is I just want to make somebody smile. A total stranger I don't know. So I can be under any situation.
So you're just creeping everybody out.
I probably like I did with Autumn when I came in. I was like, hey, what's going on?
You here for the shoot? You're she's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, because it looks like a porn studio in here when you're not. I don't know what you guys are doing when this isn't going on.
Well, obviously, how do you think we...
a different robot.
Yeah, well, the mustache gets a ride,
The mustache ride. Yeah. It's like even in the future, Groucho Marx stands tall.
Groucho Marx.
Yeah, you've got to look that one up. You want to?
Yeah, that's where it's coming from.
You know who Groucho Marx is,
we just start talking about mustache rides, and our viewership goes up 5 people.
Did
you know that?
Yeah, exactly.
People just love talking about mustaches.
Everyone with a mustache. Everyone with that.
Whenever I see them, I feel like they're such a rarity. Whenever I see them in the audience, I always talk about it.
Oh yeah.
And people love it. They're like, "Oh my god, keep talking about the mustache."
And I'm telling you, in the '90s, you had to have a mustache. You could look up any comic and they would say in the 90s.
Speaking of Mr. Mustache, Jeff Horst himself just said, someone say mustache?
Oh, man. Jeff. I love that guy, man.
Jeff Horst in here right off his Comedy Central recording.
Yeah, that's right. Congrats, Jeff.
Yeah,
man.
Congrats, Jeff.
Not a better guy could deserve it. I don't think I've met a nicer guy, man.
Yeah.
He traveled with me for a little bit, and he opened my shows. And this is back when he was probably greener than he is now, but it was just so fun to watch him because you just always seen that sense of this kid's got something. He's got something.
It was a fucking mustache. That's what he fucking had.
It was the mustache. That's what it was. He never shaved it.
Dude. That's how you do.
Got bushy.
I've been fucking up this whole time. I'd be so much farther if I could just grow some facial hair.
Yeah, there you go. You'll get there.
One day.
You gotta play the
Serena's looking at me like, please don't grow a mustache.
Yeah, she wants the full out beard.
She wants a mullet. That's what she's looking for.
The Amish beard, the Amish mullet. Call it that.
Yeah.
No?
Autumn shaking her head. She's like, no mullets. We're not bringing it back there.
Attracted to the Amish guys?
Jeff, because they heard us.
Z93. Because
we're here with Big Dog and
Kev. You guys can't take that tagline. We're Big Dog.
We're Big Dog.
We're bigger dogs.
We got the big doggers. There's a lot of power. Jeff Horst said, thank you, Zeoli. You taught me a lot. And Rich, really, we'll just give all the credit to Mark.
Yeah, it all falls. I didn't really do it, Jeff. It was Mark.
Yeah.
I learned it all from Mark. I learned a lot, though. I learned a lot from Jim McClain, Mark, Billy Ray Bauer. Kevin Kramus was a big influence on a lot of stuff, too. Man.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, he taught me.
I just seen Kevin perform.
Me everything. He taught me every back road to get to the clubs, all the different comedy clubs, because there was so many clubs back then we were playing. And he would tell. It was so funny, because every time I needed directions somewhere, because he didn't have the GPS, Kevin would go, yeah, just go down there, and then when you do that, you make a left. He talks like that raspy voice. Like, yeah, you got out there. That's where you're at.
He's a master with using the chords and in the stuff around him to make a picture. Like he had this thing where he's talking about oxygen tanks, and he took the mic cord and put it up around his face like this. I was like, that is just genius.
It's genius, yeah. And that's one of those things that you see people do. You see people do, and you're like, wow, that was
smart. Yeah, that was smart. Better than what I do. Mike stand as a dick every time.
No way, man.
That's my go-to prop.
That's so funny because Justin Sullivan came. If you've never worked Justin, he's a guitar comic. And
Yeah.
He's incredibly funny. And he came to our show. Derek and I had a show in Taylor, and that's where he lives. So he came in there and he was watching the show. And I said, "Do you want to go up and do some minutes?" He's like, "I don't know." I go, "Did you forget your ventriloquist doll?"
Yeah.
Like it was. I was implying his
His
guitar was.
Yeah.
That's like his.
It's his
crutch.
His
little crutch. But he's so funny. You got to get him up here, man.
Dude, I'll have him.
He's super funny.
I don't think we're even friends on Facebook. So if he wants
to, send him a friend request.
I mean, if he's watching this, because he's got this. One of those 7 people are. Him.
He might. Yeah. I don't know what he's up to, but yeah. Jeff is fun. I have the greatest. I probably can't tell the whole story with Jeff. On the verge of maybe somewhat getting bigger, but we there was a time that Jeff Horst and Ron Sweet and I were at a show. I think it was in Ohio, and we were driving back, and I don't know who went. It was whether he featured or emceed or Ron's featured emceed, but we were coming back. And we passed. It was around Halloween, and we passed by this little elementary school, and we're like, "Do you guys want to go into this Halloween thing?" Yeah. And I had been smoking weed, so I'm just like, "Yeah, let's go into the fucking Halloween thing."
Yeah.
So somehow there's this long line, and I don't even know how we busted in front of the line, but we got like 3 people back. I just waved like, "Yeah, this is where we were," and the people were just looking at us weird.
Yeah.
But we went through there, and it seemed like the longest haunted house. It was like, and maybe because I was high, I don't know, but it seemed like the longest haunted house, man. But that was one of the good memories I remember with Jeff, because we were just,
when you find something else to do on the road, that's not
comedy. It was like out of the blue. We passed it, and I think Jeff and I saw it. We're like, "Hey, man, was that a haunted house? Let's turn around. Let's go."
Was it were the elementary kids haunting it too? Were
they
they like actors or
dude,
what?
I will tell you what, that was probably one of the best haunted houses I've been to, and I just out of the blue, little community, and that's why it was so filled, because it was in this elementary school, and yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. I don't know if the kids were in there or not, but
dude. You run into the St. Charles Haunted House?
No, is that good? Is that
yeah, well, it's just right down the road, man. Those kids are actors in there. They got just like high school drama students, and like they have all sorts of stuff going on there. Like they're pretty freaky.
I think with the way the media, with the internet, when that started up, I think everybody in social media now, it's a little easier for people to get really involved in that, in the arts, especially. Like, you know what? Well, you see a lot more stand-up comics now. You see a lot more people starting out than. Like when I first started out, there's a small group of us, and then it got to be another group after us, and it started rebuilding, But yeah, I mean that you see a lot more people getting involved in the arts now, so that's good, especially with kids now.
All right, do you know Kelly Dunn? Because she wants to know. Oh no, I know Kelly Dunn. She says, "Remember Buck?" Yes, I remember Buck. Buck is a nice guy who interviewed me during my show. He was just asking me questions. He's like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "All right, pause the show. I'm from Saginaw." And then just awesome. We just had a bunch of questions to ask me, and every time I'd be just going, and then he'd be like, "And what'd you do about it?" And I just stop.
At least they're respectful. At least they raise their hands or something. I don't mind that. I get a lot of people raise their hands. I'm like, sure, this is the Q&A part. Go ahead, shoot. What do you got?
It's funny with just what you'll come across in shows. Yeah. What's like a memory that sticks out? Like one of your favorite memories that like just wasn't a routine show.
The Virgin Islands. I was in the Virgin Islands last year, and that was one of the things on the list. I wanted to perform on an island. Obviously, I wanted to do Hawaii or Honolulu, but I thought, well, this is an island. This is going to put that off. It's going to be off my list. And I just remember, just saying to my girlfriend, I was like, "Look, just settle in," and she's seen some really powerful shows. She goes, "This is going to be one of the best that you're ever going to witness." And she's like, why are you so confident? I go, because I want to get back here. Yeah. I don't care what happens. I want to get back here. So I just went up, and it was kind of an open venue. You're out, people were out on the balcony, and they weren't really paying attention. But then and Andre McSween had opened up for me, guy out of New York, nice guy. And he went out there, and they weren't giving him the respect. And then I sort of walked around and worked the porch. You know what I mean? I took the mic and worked around and got everybody back involved. But that show ended up being so powerful. The guy Andre who was running the thing, he's like, "I'm having you back. I'm having you back." I'm like, that's great, man. And then the hurricane hit, and I'm like, that's great too. Yeah. So they're not doing it this year.
They're not doing it.
Yeah, isn't it so funny? I'm like, I worked so hard to get it there, and the next night killed it again. So those were the ones where I was just like, I put myself in that thought of
in the zone.
I'm not going to get this opportunity is not going to fall. I'm gonna make sure I get back here because we knew. I mean, everything was paid for.
Yeah,
got good pay for being there. They took care of everything.
You're on
in our
an
hotel.
island.
Oh man, I'm on an island. That was just great.
That sounds like the best show. What's the worst show you've ever done? Like, what was the experience? Anybody
This
try to kill
Saturday. No, I'm just kidding. I've done some really good. I don't know, man. The real bad. Even the bad ones are good. I mean, Derek and I did a comedy club up in Minnesota, or is it North Dakota rather?
Yeah.
And, there were like 8 people in the crowd.
Yeah.
And I told him, it was so funny because, and you could probably relate to this, because I said, I'm not going to do any material for these people.
Oh, yeah.
And all I did was work those 8 people, and it was just one of the funnest shows. And I told Derek, this is going to be for you and Rick, the opener, or the MC. I said, this is going to be for you and Rick. And I said, and that's all I did. And it was one of the funnest shows.
Yeah.
So I think the worst shows probably, I was doing a baseball fundraiser with Ron Sweet. And Ron put it together, so he hired me in, and he got it, and everything was going to go. And then they did, which I would tell you, this is the worst thing you could ever do. They did the MC, and then Ron went up and featured. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And then they did the 50-50. Now, let me tell you something about a 50-50. There's a lot of money in this 50-50, so when people lost it, a lot of people were like, well, you know what, we're just going to leave. And they were up and walking out while I was trying to do
Really?
Yeah, it was so annoying. And I told Ron, so the funny story is on this, like a year later, somebody calls me about a fundraiser, and I put it together for him, and I put Ron in there as the headliner.
And then you did the same thing.
I said to the guy, I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do on this fundraiser. I go, before he goes on stage, I want you doing the 50-50. He called me up. He goes, you're such an ass. I go, paybacks are a bitch.
That's funny.
Oh, it was so hilarious. I'm like, what an opportunity I got. I'm going to do this.
That's karma coming back. I think the worst show I ever did was, you remember that year that Michigan lost to Michigan State, like on that punt? And I had a show at the worst bar in town. Like it was like it's like a known like people like died in their parking lot and like all sorts of stuff.
Really?
Yeah, but like it was like
still
the beginning
beginning
of my career. It was like one of the places that were booking me, and I was like, and I had a show put together, and it was right after that game, so everybody's just fucking shit-faced.
Oh, man.
So half the crowd is just angry that they just lost. The other half is just super happy that they won. And they're all wasted, not paying attention. They didn't care a show was going on. And they're trying to hijack the show. They're like, oh, fuck you, man. Let me host. And you're like, what? Like, it was like the worst. Oh, yeah. Everybody bombed so bad. It was just like, it was one of the... And it was like one of the first shows my friends came to see me, like a couple of my friends. I was like, I swear to God, it's better than this usually.
You're like, it's not always like this.
Yeah.
I think one of the best shows I remember having was after 9/11. Like when you were performing back then at 9/11, you were, we didn't do a show. A lot of clubs didn't do shows that weekend. They were, they were off, and if you did do a show, it wasn't that great. You checking in with other friends. Where I was at, I wasn't going to do the show, but the next week I had to be in upstate New York, and I was in the comedy club, and I just remember going on stage, and I remember getting bigger laughs than I could ever imagine. You know what I mean? They were much bigger than normal, and you just realize that people were just, after being down for so long, they just really wanted to laugh. I had so many people coming up after the show like, you know what, thank you for making us laugh. We all needed it, as I'm sure every comic did. And I think if you check with most comics, that was a big show for a lot of people, because when you got back on stage, when everybody was down from everything, I think they just needed to relax. They needed a laugh. So that's a solid memory.
Yeah, that's awesome. Actually, I was just listening to a podcast about that today, where a guy was talking about the same exact thing.
Yeah,
like right after, everybody was just. They were, and like a lot of people were doing patriotic jokes, and like they were saying like
just anything that you could come up with.
And people were just
funny.
like, "Fuck yeah!"
Yeah, if you got lost at any point, you're like USA, and then they just go USA. You're like, I've got control of this crowd.
Yeah, got them. These nuts.
I don't have a USA crowd joke.
Somebody just Kelly said that she really likes your shirt.
Yes,
that's a.
I probably could sell these after my show.
Best buds.
Everybody always comes up to me and sees this, and my buddy who owns a party store in Detroit, and he's like, "Yeah, I got a great shirt for you, man. Come down, check out this shirt, man." And that's exactly how he talks. So
yeah.
I'll be down there, Louis. I'll be down there because that's beautiful, man. You wear it on stage, and I go, "Hold me an extra large," and so that's what I got. I'm like, I just couldn't turn it down. I'm like, I'll wear this anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere.
I'm telling you,
nobody gives a shit. And then Neil Estes says that you're his hero.
Neil Estes. I love Neil, man.
Neil is funny, dude.
Neil, you know what Neil is? He's the machine gun joke teller, man. That guy can just rattle them off. And he's funny, man.
It was funny. I was talking to Kate Brindle, and Kate Brindle was on here, and I think you were watching, and Neil was like doing it, and then she's like, oh, and she's like trying to remember where she knew Neil from, and I was like, you performed with him, and he's like, oh, the guy who took his shirt off after the show. Neil's just up there with his tits just hanging out.
I don't care. If you challenge him to do it, Neil would do it, man.
Oh, yeah. Neil's awesome.
He's a great dude.
Neil's one of the first people to believe in me. Like, give me like the first one of the first people to give me a feature spot. One of the first person to headline me. So it was like I always appreciate Neil.
I met Neil I think he came up as a fan of my show. And when I was out there, him and his wife, awesome, and they came up after the show. They're really nice, and then. He started, I think he was just getting into it. I might be wrong, Neil, so I apologize, but I think he was just getting into it, or he hadn't even gotten into it yet. But then the next thing I know, he's like producing shows, and he's funny, and I'm like, wow, dude, this is amazing.
Yeah.
To watch. It's funny to watch guys come up and watch guys get just better and better.
Neil,
like guys like Jeff and like guys like Canope.
But if you see Neil and it's his birthday, you better wish him happy birthday. Because if you don't wish him happy birthday, he'll delete you off Facebook.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Is that your?
So whenever I see his birthday, I always make sure I'm like, oh man, I don't want to get deleted. Wait, happy birthday, Neil.
Yeah, I forgot. I never get. You know what's funny? Because I don't get on Facebook every day. So if you miss somebody's birthday, then you see it and you're like, I couldn't. I don't want to be that douchebag. It's like, oh hey, happy 2 days after your birthday.
Yeah, thanks for thinking of me.
Yeah, thank you. Most of the time I don't, and then they respond, and then I get a bunch of happy birthday requests. I'm like, well, I never wished them a happy birthday, so that's nice.
Don't you feel good?
I know. In case I forgot, this is done. Hey Neil, happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday, Neil.
Let's get that out of the way now. Just for whenever it is. It's like, my birthday's not till September. Well, happy early birthday.
So, if you were in Mark's shoes, Mark Canope, and you got any advice for the young comics today, what would you say? I mean, besides...
if I was in Mark's shoes, you're funny.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm a big believer in, like, find things in life that are funny and find things that are personal to you that are funny. Because if they're real true stories, even on a basis of it, then it's really hard for someone to take that momentum. Not saying that people steal jokes, but there are people out there that would lift things and do things. But if you write closer to your home and closer to your heart, it's a little more difficult for somebody to grab that passion for what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I would say, look around. I think I told you that. I said, get a list and write 20 things, and if you get 3 things out of it that are funny, that becomes something, then you're good.
You also told me, this is my favorite piece of advice, is like, if you are going to say something that people may not agree with, frame it as somebody else said it. So,
always. Oh, man. Yes.
So that's what I've always been saying. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Keep the heat off yourself, man.
I was like, Kevin Zeoli said that.
I used to do a joke. When my daughter was little, I said, my daughter's beautiful. She collected Beanie Babies. I go, I'm so stupid that I thought Beanie Babies was a Mexican adoption agency.
Yeah.
And it would get so much different reviews out of it. But then when I said, my brother's so stupid, he actually thought Beanie Babies was a Mexican adoption agency. The laughs went up. Yeah. And I took a lot less heat. So that's where I learned that. I'm like, all right, I'm taking it off me.
That's what I always say. When I always say something like, I was like, oh, yeah, well, I know my buddy Kevin Zeoli.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I know you said that. Yeah, Zeoli does that. I think Kramus taught me that. If I remember right, I think Kramus is the one who said that. He's redirected. He said, just don't put it on yourself.
Yeah. Mark is pumped. He goes, this is so cool. I've been on your show all afternoon from my couch in Toledo.
Yeah, you got like 30,000 hits on your site right now, Mark.
Well, Mark, if you ever want to travel up here and do the show, let me know.
Mark would love it.
Up in the dining room, you can come here and.
Get him on a run up here. He's funny, man.
Yeah, definitely reach out, Mark. I'd like to meet you in real life and get some of that good advice that has been sprouted down to the Zeoli.
No, there were a lot of good guys, man, coming up. When I first started, a lot of the headliners were real friendly. But you know what? I was a lot like you though. I had a show where I'd bring him in on the show, and kind of in a way, I'd be like, well, "Can you open a door? Or can you help me out? Or give me some advice?" And so a lot of that was done then. So I booked a lot of shows around locally. And guys would come out and do the show, and they would, they'd want to interject with you, and they thought you were funny. I mean, that was a big thing. And I think most of them thought I was, funny enough that they helped me get work, and that was a big plus.
That's huge.
So, yeah,
that's huge.
And you meet a lot of great guys. I mean, like I met Norm Stoltz when I first started out. I met all these amazingly great comedians.
Norm's hilarious too.
He is, and he's like, there's a super nice guy, man. You can't meet a nicer guy.
Oh yeah, he's coming to do some shows here in June, like the third week of June. He's doing all 4 rooms right in a row. Bam, bam, bam.
He's that's going to be a special treat for everybody.
Oh yeah, people are going to love him. He's polished. He's good. Nonstop.
Well, his storytelling is just amazing, and the connection with the laughs are just off the hook.
Fucking good, dude.
Yeah. So it's fun watching them. Like when I first started watching, guys like Knope and Stoltz and all those guys, where I was like, man. That's what I want to do one day. That's where I want to be. And it helped me to excel because, it started late. I was 31 almost when I started. So I already started behind the ball. Like,
yeah.
But when I first started, they said the hardest part, every comic I talked to said the hardest part is when you're first starting out is being in front of the crowd. Well, because of the band stuff, the crowd didn't even scare me. It was just now making sure I had relatable subjects and I had topics that were right, and so. If
you could do one or the other, would you stay in a band or would you keep doing comedy?
Oh man, being younger, I would stay in the band.
Yeah.
But now that I'm older, it's so much nicer to be a comic. And people always try and compare the two, and there's really no comparison. I mean, when you're in a band and you're out and you're young and you got at the time I had the long hair, I got everything going on. It was easy. You'd meet so many girls, and it was like there were groupies, and there were all kinds of fun, and there were drugs and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
But then when you get into comedy, it's a little more laid back. And you talked about this. You were like, it's that enthusiasm when you're on stage. You're so enthused by what you're doing, and that's the roller coaster ride of comedy. Because you could be killing it, and everybody loves you in that room. And then an hour later, you're in your hotel room by yourself. You know what I mean, watching a news channel or something.
Watching
soap.
I got a hotel. Sal put me up at a nice Motel 6. And I appreciate that, Sal. And I first came in, and let me tell you, the first place I walk in, there's 2 guys arguing. Lobby full of people, and the guy's arguing about like $120 fee he got for smoking, and he's like, I didn't smoke in the room. And they're like, yeah, you did. And he just throws the money in this guy's face, and this guy's like, I'm not a stripper, don't throw cash at me. And I'm like, oh shit, there's gonna be a shootout at the fucking Motel 6 I'm at. And then I go there and I get up into my room, and there's a sign that says, lock the door for your protection.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, well, this is freaking great. And then I turn on the TV, because I don't have I've been watching Netflix. I haven't had cable in 10 years. Since my parents paid for it. I've never had cable. And, dude, the commercials on him are so fucking old school.
Oh, yeah.
You watch, you're like, who the hell? These are the same commercials I watched as a kid. They've never updated them.
They never upgraded it.
It was the same,
no job's too big. No job.
Billy May is still on there. What the hell is going on?
Yeah. It's funny. There's so many commercials. I record everything I watch because I just want to skim through all the commercials. Yeah. I can't stand commercials. But some of them are funny. When you get, really good funny commercials, that's the best. I mean, I grew up at a time when commercials were almost as popular as the shows.
Well, the Super Bowl? One time a year.
There was no Super Bowl when I was a kid. We didn't have a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was just championships.
Yeah, it was just champions. Yeah, one against the other.
When the Detroit Lions won the championship in 1958 or some shit.
57.
Was it 57?
I think it was 57.
I don't know.
You know who they beat? They beat Cleveland.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? They were
the last time they were relevant.
They're probably both of the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I was just talking about, there was a guy in the audience last night who was wearing a Cleveland Browns shirt, and he said he moved from Michigan to Cleveland. And I said, oh, wow, you had a shitty team to root for. Then you're like, where can I go where the team's shittier?
Yeah. The Browns used to be good. We used to be good. But, man, it's just... And then you think about it. You're like, man, that's got to suck. If you're from a championship city and you got to go, well... it must suck to be from Detroit, and we should give them some support. And then they drive through Detroit and be like, wow, it must really suck to be from Detroit, Well, certain parts of Detroit, where it's run down, and they're like, oh.
Detroit, the
it's rebuilding now, though.
They're on their way. They're redoing it. My cousin has an apartment over in, so nice downtown,
man.
And they're, redoing everything.
There's still some rough spots, but, I mean, it's like any big city. You're going to go to different areas where you shouldn't ponder into. But yet, the people, what's funny about those areas? Generally, those people are some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And people just get in fear of the area. Like, I've been lost in between there. Yeah, I've been lost.
The bars and the windows freak people out.
Yeah, and it does. And then most of the times you can knock on the door and they'll talk to them, and they're just sweet people. They're like, sure, let's see if we can help you, and they're helpful. At least in my case. I've never had any bad situations outside of big cities where things got, crazy or anything.
Yeah.
So,
has anything ever got crazy for you? Is there any times where you go, oh, shit, where did I get myself into? Mister.
I will say this. I was with Demetrius Nicodemus, he's a DJ. I don't know if he still is down in Ohio.
DJ.
Very funny.
Nicodemus.
DJ Nicodemus. And he was super funny, and we worked together. And I was doing a thing up in Wisconsin, a show. And he happened to be doing another show somewhere, so he came to my show, and we hung out afterward. And he was driving in a van, but I said to him, I said, man, dude, you're in a non-African American area, man. Don't go down the wrong street. Just follow me, and because you never know. And just if they're profiling, and that's exactly what they were. Because as soon as Demetrius turned off, he went down the other way. I looked down the street, and there he is pulled over, and I'm like, are you kidding me, man? No. And it was just one. You could just see because Demetrius is not one of the guys that would do anything wrong. You know, he drives pretty straightforward. It wasn't.
But he drove a van.
But he was driving a van.
Yeah, that's pretty
let the van go. Yeah. How many kids are in the back?
Yep, those vans.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we should probably rock out of here because we got the show here at 8 o'clock at Jen's place.
Come on down.
Doors at 7. We'll be down there at 7 o'clock to wrap it up.
It's good.
Oh yeah, Big Dog and Kev. Any last words for these people out here watching or what?
Be good to one another, and if you can't be good to one another, be good to yourself.
There you go.
That's right. And if you can't laugh at yourself, stare harder in the mirror.
Oh, shots fired.
This has been the Futures of Comedy Show. Order your mugs now. Go to autumnandserena.com and order your mugs right now. All the proceeds go to a very good cause for Mike Ball. It's Comedy for Balls. That's what it's for. Comedy for balls in the ballroom. Show them the balls. Look at Mike turns to the side. He's like, look at my balls. Look at him.
All right, you can cut it. Cut the tape.
See ya.